Hey, welcome back. All right, so this is my 1978 Honda Express nc50, and I'm completely taking her apart, as you can see. I'm overhauling the motor, and I got to clean the gas tank out and repair the blinker system. I'm going to do all this over the winter while I have time, a little at a time. But referring to the shop manual, it requires several quote unquote special tools. And some of these special tools are, well, let me show you what I got. Let's see, let's go over the special tools. All right, one of them, this is one of them. This is actually for pulling out the clutch. This is a clutch puller. Okay, this is an aftermarket. This is made for a Puch, but it actually fits the nc50 Express. Any model between 77 and 80 this fits into. Some of them you use the heads of the Allen bolts for. Some of them you use the threading for it, depending on the model, but it fits all of them. I got that from treatland.tv, which only deals in moped parts. So that's one of them. This one isn't really that special, but it's an oil seal puller, which if you're going to replace your oil seals, you're going to need to pull the oil seals out gently. And this works really good for doing that. This is available anywhere. You can get clones of these on Amazon. All it is really a fulcrum and a hook, just for pulling the oil seals out gently. This is a pulley holder. It's adjustable for size. Great tool. Can be used for a lot of things, but it's basically for holding your pulleys, your flywheels, and shit like that. Now, this isn't really a special tool, but when you're pressing in your oil seals, that calls for an oil seal press. But a 1-inch PVC pipe, which I haven't cut down yet, and the coupling are the perfect size for pressing in the oil seals once they're cut down. And it also calls for a puller for the stator and for pulling the motor apart, but a tri-puller, which it has this extra prong here to make it a bi-puller, works really good for taking apart the case and for taking apart the cover on the stator. Well, it's not really a cover, it's more like a plug, but just want to put this out there. You don't need special quote unquote tools to pull your nc50 apart, but these come in handy. This will work great if I put a fender washer over the end of the pipe and I cut it down to the proper length. I can use it to press in the oil seals around the crankshaft. This guy came in handy for pulling off the cover over the stator or the stator alignment, and also it helped pull the entire motor apart, which I've got the motor down here bagged up, the spare motor that I bought, and it helped me take the case apart, which worked out really well. Clutch puller, it depends on what model you have, but you'll have to put some nuts and some washers on it, or use these ends here with the washer and the nut. It all depends on what model you have. Some of them are a little different than the other ones, but these are all the special tools that you need for an nc50. That's it right there in a nutshell. So if you're referring to the shop manual and you need special tools, these will all do the job, and I'll be happy to show how I get the thing apart as I go. I already took apart my spare motor, which is down here. So now I'm not scared to go to work on my little pony over here. Guys, this is my little pony, the little pony that could. So, just throwing it out there. If anybody, is working on an nc50, it's a 46-year-old little bike. You don't need a lot of special tools. I'm not going to mess around with this, but you can get a spring compressor from almost any auto parts store. That's the only other special tool that I think I would need. I'm not taking the spring apart. I'm just going to loosen it up here so I can drop the lower end of the motor off and take it off. But that should be all the special tools that you need to get this thing apart. And when I crack the case, I will do a video of that just to show how to crack the case. When I press the seals in, I'll show how to do that as well. So if you're working on this little bike or one like it, and we're just going to live in the solution and not live in the problem. So we're going to find the solutions to working on a 46-year-old motorcycle that needs a little help, because we're going to overhaul her. Going to pull the oil seals out. We're going to pull the bearings out, replace those, redo all the seals. I have the cover for the tranny right here, which I got to put back together. I'm also having a problem figuring out how this bracket goes on and lines up with this lever here, which I'm completely unsure about because in my head it doesn't seem to line up, but we're working on it. But anyway, as far as special tools, according to the shop manual, you don't need no special tools. Most of the tools you can get from treatland.tv or the local auto parts store or just the hardware store. Like I said, this is just a 1-inch PVC pipe. Once I cut this down, which it's got a bad cut here because I pulled it out of the attic of the job I was working on, and it just so happened to find a coupling, and the coupling fits the rear oil seal really well, believe it or not. So just as an example, here's the output oil seal. This fits right over that perfectly for tapping or pressing it on. And here's the crankshaft oil seal, which this fits perfect on this side for pushing it in, which will also work on the stator side because there's 2 oil seals behind the bearings. So yeah, no special tools required. You can fashion everything you need for yourself, and you can get it locally probably, or aftermarket. Like I said, this is the hardest one that I found, the clutch puller, and it's simple. There's nothing to it. You could literally make one with a piece of plate steel and just tap a bolt through. But I like that it's got the dimple point on the end, and so does the tri-puller. They all have that dimple point, so that works really good. Tri-puller's like $35 at the local auto parts store. This guy, I think, was $12 from Treatland. It was a fucking steal. And the oil seal puller was, I don't know, $8 on Amazon. So really nothing to it. I think this one was the most expensive one. I think I paid $23 for it, but it's all set up perfectly so that it can do its job. So special tools, not required.